Hello and welcome back to the stream, welcome back to the channel. I am Pew Pew Meow and tonight we are doing Valor Victory. It is the Liport Bridge scenario from the main game. That's what we're doing tonight. I hope you're ready for this. It is June 7th, 1944, Liport, France. During the night of the June 6th on the 7th, German commanders began to see their positions in and around Saint-Mère Eglise deteriorate rapidly, so they issued orders for the Fallschirmjager units in the area to move south and establish defensive positions in Carentan. Unbeknownst to the men of the 1st Fallschirmjager 6, I have no idea what that designates, maybe 1st Division. American paratroopers commanded by Colonel Johnson had set up a defensive perimeter around the La Barquette locks and Liport Bridge. Fallschirmjager moved into an ambush and Johnson's force made them pay dearly for their mistake. Only a few dozen of them eventually made it to Carentan and the rest surrendered to the Americans. We shall be taking on the role of the Fallschirmjager in this. Yeah, that's right, we are playing Germans. It is designed as such because they are on the attack. And as we know from many playthrough, both Valor Victory and unfortunately squad battles as well do not do well for the AI to be the attacker. It is what it is. One day, but that day is not today. So we are playing as Axis. So let's have a look at what we actually have available. Alright, let me just do that here. We have El Capitan over here, if yes, we can do our finger painting. We have 2, so that's Hauptmann. We have 2 Oberleutnants. And we have 9 Fallschirmjager squads. They have 3 LMGs, MG34s, and 3 sets of grenades. Now, looking at the opponent, that is, of course, our opponent. I'm sorry, I am very tired today. Yes, it is, of course, our opponent. It is the paratroopers, right? So, the Americans, they have 3 lieutenants, or first lieutenants, 7 squads, 1 HMG, and 2 LMGs that they would have a use of. One thing to note here, and this is very, very interesting to note, that we only have 2, that's right, that's only 2 extra squads of Fallschirmjagers. This is not gonna be easy. This actually is gonna be very tough because looking at the stats, look here, our range is 5, while their range is 6. They have an HMG. We only have LMGs. This is gonna be very, very tough. I have played this mission before and I have won it before. So bear that in mind, but we'll see how that goes. Oh, ciao, Luca. How is it going? Well, it is going reasonably well, thank you very much. I'm a little bit tired tonight, but we are doing okay. How are you, my friend? I hope you're doing well. I hope you are doing well. But, great. I'm glad to hear that, man. Well, let's do a little bit of finger painting, shall we? So, we can see that we start on the east side of the board, right here. We already have eyes on 2 enemy positions. So while this is an ambush, we already kind of ambushed More importantly, though, these are the objectives we need to take and survive after taking them. As long as we hold the objectives, we can win the game. So let us have a very quick look at what we can see, or more importantly, what the opponent can see, because this is much more important. Luca has to do an exam on history tomorrow on the American Revolution. Oh man, I wish I could help you there, buddy. Unfortunately, my knowledge of American Revolution is rudimentary at best. But I do wish you all the best, my man. History is wonderful, and, well, I hope you do well. I hope you do well. But going back to our game, we can see that we can actually, let's just go back to our finger painting, we can send this platoon over yonder through the trees, and then we can strike through for that objective, kind of avoiding a lot of what the Americans can see, while these two platoons can probably strike up over here and then move up, whoops, move up there and there to get the objective and, of course, eliminate this platoon or whatever type of forces the Americans have. We shall check that in a second. Luca had an idea on a board game today. Well, does that involve American Revolution, my man? I hope it did. But yes, that is our plan for this mission. How it's gonna go, we do not know. But if we do survive our southern assault, we shall strike over yonder, and then, of course, put any suppressive fire wherever it might be needed. Of course, there as well, if there are any American forces in the forest. So that is what we are planning. But Luca, do feel free to share your ideas for the... Let's just remove that. For the board game that you had. I am really quite curious. Now, going back to our game, though, our Lieutenant Williams is, or First Lieutenant Williams, if you speak American, is in command of 2 squads of paratroopers with an LMG, and then Lieutenant Spears is in command of platoon with an HMG. We, however, have Oberlieutenant Blochberger in command of a platoon, leading a platoon with an LMG. We have Hoffman in command of another platoon with the LMG, and of course Oberlieutenant Berger in a very similar situation. So the first things we're gonna do, as always, we don't want to lose our support weapons, and in this game, officers always die last, so they get our support weapons. Lucas says his board game is gonna be called I Am God. The objective is to become him, aka God, by ascending from being mortal. That is very cool, and so I assume maybe not him, but maybe one of them, seeing how board games would usually involve multiple people, unless this is a Euro game. In that case, it could be just one person. But yeah, it sounds cool. What are the mechanics that you were thinking of using there, Luca? So, we, however, abusing the mechanics of the game, or using them to our advantage, we are not going to be shooting, because, well, first things, we are out of range. So let's go to our movement phase, and what we do want to do is, again, just to double check what they can see. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's gonna end our turn here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're out of sight, out of mind, as they say. Over here, they have eyes this way, so we're gonna be with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well with our lieutenant or Oberlieutenant. And over here, let's just stop that. They can see all the way, so we kind of want to make our way this way. And maybe even this way. Actually, this is perfect. So we know that they're here and here, right? So this unit, of course, has eyes all the way, but we can then move up here and start shooting them, which would be really quite nice. Now, Lucas says, for his game, there will be different level to your divinity, these being demigod, new god, old god, elder god, primordial god, and finally him. Why does the god have to be a man, by the way? Is the god not transcended above him or her? Is the god not above gender? I like to see God as genderless. Yes, as much as the, the popular Western belief, aka Judaism, Christianism, and of course Muslim, seeing how they all worship the same God, would like you to believe that he's an old man with a bushy beard, sitting on a throne. Yes, yes indeed. And now I have lost all of my subscribers. But then again, I do not subscribe to religion, and of course everybody has their own opinion on that. Right, let's move on to our next phase. Ah, yes. Ah, yes, indeed. I understand you. I get what you're saying, man. And we're moving on to the next phase. So we have now spotted another couple of squads, and damn, are they good. Wow. That was a very lucky roll. We have lost quite a lot of men there. We have lost a full squad of men. Defensive fire, though. So let us defensively fire onto the enemy. They, of course, occupy the best place. That way, we are causing some casualties. So we eliminated a fire team, which is fantastic. Over here. Oh, that was a beautiful shot. Look at that. Wow, okay, well, maybe if we are that good at shooting, we can trade blows. We can definitely trade blows. Right, okay, well, Allied advance and assault, they do nothing, so we do move on to our next phase. So I reckon what we will do is our Oberlieutenant Berger is gonna be our fire support position. It's not very good, but this would have to do, or actually, I moved on to fire phase. Well, never mind, he is our FSG or fire support group. He'll be firing and just missing. Over here, let's just take it slow here for one more turn. And then we'll start moving up, because we probably, well, we'll move on there in a second. Now, over here, let's draw their fire. Let's draw their ire. And that was actually quite painful for us. But we are quite happily taking the objective. So that is good. Let's see what they can do in the fire defense phase. I'm a little bit worried about that. I am rightfully so. Maybe we should have moved in here and then we would have only been pinned. Here we have lost a man. But more importantly, we are over here, we are having eyes on these men, and we can basically start suppressing them. So that is really quite good. Over here, we gonna stay put. Now let's see what the Americans decide to do this turn. Are they gonna try and retake the objective? If only we had snipers, eh? So far, so good. So far, so good. Well, well, well. And we are on to defensive fire. So let's try and take this position apart, if we can. Wow, that's a rotten luck. That is indeed a rotten luck. Very, very nicely compensated immediately by double ones. Now, we now have 2 squads. Well, our Oberlieutenant Blochberger and, of course, Fallschirmjager are both. Well, they were already elite status, but now they have Medals of Valor, which make them extremely durable. That is really quite good. I really do like that. So, Allied advance and assault, nothing happens, so we shall be taking things into our own hands here. Fire phase will just whittle them down. I'm quite happy being here. I'm quite happy being here as well. Oh, wow, have you seen that? Damn! Over here. I think we'll stand off for just a bit longer. Would have been nice to pin them. But that is fine. That is fine. We have had some great success. No movement. Let's see what they can do in their defensive fire. Okay, we're pinned. Not ideal. We wanted to advance. That is really bad. We just lost the fire team there. But we seem to be actually a-okay otherwise. We'll spend one more turn and then we're gonna push that objective. So let's just stay put for now. And let the Americans do what they do best and shoot at us. We keep taking casualties from that HMG. We do need to do something about that, and I believe we will be doing that in a moment. But first, defensive fire phase. I want to annihilate that position. Fantastic. Do we have eyes on here? Oh yes, that is beautiful. That is beautiful. And of course, over here. Look at that. Look at that. We are definitely gonna be assaulting them next. Or next turn. Command phase. Well, nothing to do in the command phase. Over here, do we have eyes? We do have eyes. Let's go. Now let us go this way. They will, of course, shoot. And we will, of course, sustain casualties. That is acceptable losses, if I do say so myself. However, over here... Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. They cannot do anything in the defensive fire phase. We're gonna do advance and or assault, not here because they have way too many troops. But over here, we're gonna lose some men. That is inevitable, but we will defeat them. And let's see, we have lost a squad. That's fine because we're gonna be taking the objective next turn. Alright, 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 alright. Well, they are having a lot of luck. Wow. Well, I do need to suppress them as much as I can because chances are they are gonna assault. And if they do, our Hoffman is just gonna go. And there you have it. We have pinned at least somebody there. Still plenty of men to attack. Let's see if they're gonna advance. Yes, they will. They will lose men, which I do appreciate. But not enough. Not enough men are gonna be lost, right? Fire phase. Well, let's fire. There we go. Perfect. More casualties have been caused. Over here, we're not gonna fire. We're gonna go and seize the day. And gonna move up here so that we can kind of set ourselves up for a bit of an assault. But of course, interesting. So, wow. Okay. This was unexpected because I would have thought that in order to win, we needed to make sure that the Americans, the opponent, does not retake the objectives, not just seize two objectives. But it seems that I was wrong. We just needed to seize two objectives, which is a little bit bizarre. It is bizarre, I'm gonna say. But we have lost 63% of men and causing 69% casualties. It is not good, whichever way you look at that. Of course, both sides are pretty much equally lost, but I believe that we still had enough men to cause a bit more issues for the Yanks. It worked, our kind of advance worked pretty well. Let's just have a look. This allowed us to move up pretty much without too many issues. We spent a little bit too long in this position here. We should have moved up to the building a little bit sooner, however, that did expose us to an HMG fire, which wasn't quite good. This worked really well. Of course, we have lost quite a lot of men trying to move up here, over there. Again, nothing much you can do in this situation. One thing I would say is we shouldn't have moved up to engage the HMG in close quarters. We lost pretty much, not pretty much, we lost a whole platoon, including our Hauptmann, our captain there. We should have just stayed put and waited for them to come to us. This worked out well. We have sacrificed one squad of men to take out their lieutenant. I chalk it up to acceptable losses. We needed to take this objective, we did, and then we got ready to assault separated squad of paratroopers, but the game has finished well before then. Would I do something differently? Absolutely. I would have just stayed here with our men and waited for the Yanks to come to us, or for the Americans, of course, to come to us. But that's that. That is us done with this mission. However, just for, you know, shits and giggles, we gonna play this as allies, right? Let's see if we can survive this as allies. So what would be our move here? What would be our plan? So this is clearly very, very badly protected. We only have one platoon here, while over yonder, I mean, yes, we do have an overwatch from this unit, which is quite good. However, and I believe, let's just have a quick look. I see. Let's wait for the Germans to move first, shall we? It triggered automatic fire, fantastic, we have reduced them. Are they gonna walk into the... They will. This is beautiful, this is so good to see. It's very hard to damage them when they do that, but actually doing not too bad at all. So, defensive fire, right. Well, before we do our defensive fire, let's have a look. What can we see with this unit? We pretty much have eyes on all the way that way. So, because Germans would need to either go back here, that's what I would have done, or move through this hex, which is overwatched, of course, by our HMG, and hopefully that would trigger an opportunity fire. Probably striking that away. Would this trigger an opportunity fire from this unit? It most certainly will. So that is actually quite fantastic. No, quite fantastic to see. So we kind of have Overwatch that away. I am worried about them sneaking up here. Or let's actually do that in German colors. I'm worried in them sneaking up this way. But we do have this unit over here overwatching, so hopefully they can cause some casualties and be able to stop the Germans. We'll wait until next turn and we might relocate this unit over here, trying to block Germans in and leaving this kind of platoon here to contend with the German platoon there. But we shall see what actually happens. And so, let us remove our finger painting and move on to the game. So, no eyes, no eyes, no eyes. Right, no, we can't really do anything else, so let's move on to next turn. There are the Germans. They're advancing, of course. Natürlich. So, our first turn, and in our first turn, as always, we're gonna be putting light support weapons together with our leaders. Leaders die lost, so they get support weapons. One of these days, I hope they change it, but until that day, we are gonna be just doing that. This poses the greatest danger. We're gonna be shooting at them. Fantastic. Causing some casualties there. We don't have ice. We have ice here, though. Let's shoot. Let's shoot him. Why the hell not? There we go. Right, and over here... Yeah, let's shoot him that way. Causing no casualties whatsoever. Movement phase, nothing. Let's see if the Germans can... Or do the Germans have anything in reply? They do not. hint, they do not at all. So if this would have been a human opponent, we would have been expecting... Let us... What do they see? They see that way. Let us move this way. We would have been expecting them to move up. I do not know if they will, but we are gonna be moving up ourselves, establishing a nice, strong base of fire in the buildings, and of course trying to block the advance to that objective. But let's see if the Germans are gonna try and push, or are they... No, they are not. And yes, they have pinned us. That is not a problem. Trust me, that is not a problem at all. We are simply gonna be just, yeah, sitting and shooting. I wish... I wish AI was better. It's one of those things where you're kind of like, well, you know, AI is hard, small developer, but... And this is not a criticism of Valor Victory specifically. This is a criticism of strategy gaming in general, right? And, well, I mean, this is not really strategy, but let's... this is tactics, right? And a lot of games that are... like to be called strategy games are actually tactics games. But that is besides the point. The point is, however, the point is that the AI, for some reason, always gets a short shrift. Whether it is... yeah. Whether it is in wargaming, strategy gaming, tactics, grand strategy, etc. Once you understand how the mechanics of the game work, you don't even need to be very good at the game. You just roll over the AI. And we are not kind of... we're not cheesing the AI here. We are literally doing just solid tactics, and it has no answer. It literally has no answer to us. Now, okay, they are doing some damage. I give them that, but we are on turn 3. They are within moving distance of the objective. Don't get me wrong. But this objective is still not gonna be secured. So, like, what are they gonna do? Like, what are they gonna do when they start taking casualties on the northern side? I mean, yeah, they still have plenty of men. But... what are they gonna do when they run out of men on the southern side? Right? I mean... yeah, let's just try and reduce that. They're no longer our greatest threat, but these men are. I just feel like AI should get a bit of love in strategy games. They should try to make it a bit better. Oh, that's fantastic. And again, this is not a criticism of Valor in Victory specifically. I mean, it is a one-man team, right? It's a one-man development team. Like, you cannot ask a lot from that sort of setup. However, for AA and AAA studios with a bunch of money, and I am talking Civilization, I am talking bigger studios, that should like not be, it's not an excuse. They don't have one man working on everything. So yeah, the games are a bit more complicated, but not by much. Not by much at all. There is a lot under the hood that is working here. Nice. So, yeah. And I mean, come on, they figured out chess when they were saying it's impossible. They figured out Go, and they were saying it's impossible. They figured out StarCraft 2, and they were saying it's impossible. Now it's time for this to trickle down to mainstream games. Okay. For that AI, right, that can work in chess, and yes, it boils down to crunching numbers in chess. It's a fairly simple game, as, you know, people who are in coding and work with programming would tell you. It is nowhere on the level of this. I understand that. But look at Go. Like, computer wipes the floor with the humans nowadays. And again, you could say, but it's much more simpler game. Well, have you tried playing Go? Okay. It's crunching numbers, yes. But you can also crunch numbers here. The issue I see is that these games just... War games, specifically, small budget, small development teams. They concentrate on the mechanics. And a lot of times, oh my god, we've just annihilated the southern position completely. Time to shift up north. A lot of times they concentrate on a multiplayer side of things, which is where war games really, really shine. But AAA games concentrate on graphics and nothing else. And yes, including Civilization. They are iterating on the series, of course. Oh, they are moving forward. They are moving forward. Defensive fire, right? Well, let's fire defensively, shall we? No eyes. Well, that's... That is fine. But enough of me ranting. Yes, they must be beautiful. They must have better dedicated AI teams. Look at the Galciv. Well, Galciv 2. Yes, I know, it's a very old game. But look at Galciv in general. Look at Galciv in general. It is a AA developer. They're no indie developer. That is for certain. But they are AA, and they have iterated and iterated. Brad Wardell is amazing. He is, well, amazing at coding, and specifically doing AI. And he had has brought that game up to snuff. And I believe the newest one, Galciv 4, while I kind of bounced off it, it does have good mechanics, and I believe it has a decent AI. Not perfect, but maybe I just don't know the mechanics of the game that well. That could also be a thing. But I have played a reasonable amount of Galciv 2 back in the day, and I thought that the AI in that game was really, really good. So there you go. My 2 cents and enough of my rant. We are about to finish wiping this, the Germans off the map. Nothing really to add to this. I mean, they should have pushed, they didn't. They should have done what I've done, they didn't. And now they only have, what, Oberleutnant and Blochberger. And Blochberger is simply not enough, man. I'm sorry, I take that back. There is no Blochberger. We were lucky with our last shot. 3 units with medals of Valour. Would you look at that? We have wiped out 100% of Germans and only lost 13% of our men. Need I say more? Need I say more? I don't think so. Right, well, I think we should finish the stream here. Thank you very much for watching. Of course, if you're watching in the future, I hope you enjoyed it. If you are watching now, you're not, because we have no viewers right this moment. But for Luca and anybody else who might have tuned in during the stream, thank you so much for tuning in. We're gonna be streaming tomorrow at 1900 hours GMT, as always. It is gonna be WDS Wargame Design Studios Squad Battles Eagles Strike. And we finally gonna advance to Saint Lo. It's gonna be tough. It's actually gonna be pretty brutal. A lot of barrage, a lot of very dug-in German positions. Hopefully we can succeed. We shall see. We shall see. Until then, thank you again. And remember, kids, do gaming, not war.